Go ahead. Hi, Amy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Oh my gosh, my dog.
I'm super excited. We've been talking about doing this Zoom for our team for a while now, and we finally made it happen. Um, so for you guys who don't know, this is Amy Farthing. She is our double diamond leader, and she is just a fountain of knowledge. I was about to say wealth. I don't know why. And she is the sweetest person, and I just love Amy to death, and I'm glad that she was able to do this for us. Um, One of the reasons why I invited Amy is because her posts have just been amazing, and her business has been booming since this summer. Actually, your business was just like incredible, and we just kind of want to talk a little bit about what you've been doing, what you've been doing differently, and what's worked for you and what hasn't worked for you. So just kind of share that with us. But first of all, I want you to introduce yourself to everyone and a little bit about yourself and your story with It Works.
Okay. I'm getting ready to finish my 5th year with It Works. And I was a special education teacher and never thought I would want to be a stay-at-home mom. I got married a little bit later in life, had kids later in life, had gone back to school to get a master's degree to be a teacher. And even up until the time that our first daughter was born, I was like, I don't even know if I want to take like 6 whole weeks off for maternity leave. Like, I'm just ready to pop this child out and let's get back to teaching. And then this funny thing happens when you have a child. It's like your whole axis of your universe switches, and it's just like, oh, wait, I have to go back to school. And unfortunately, the economy was not in a great place when we had Sarah. And I remember calling the HR people, and the guy told me, he was like, if you give up your spot, even though there's so much demand for special ed teachers, if you give up your spot, there's no guarantee you'll have one to come back to. And my husband is a high school counselor and also with a master's degree, and doesn't matter in education, a master's degree doesn't mean much. So it really was not financially possible for me to stay home. We just could not figure out a way to make it work. And then about 2 years later, when we were pregnant with our second daughter, I found out I was pregnant with her the day after the school shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School happened. And being a teacher and having a young child already and another one that was coming, I decided I was going to find a way to be able to stay home. And I actually started a jewelry business for $1,300. I started a jewelry business. And as you can tell, I wear so much jewelry. I don't even have my wedding bands on right now. I wear so much jewelry, and I was really bad at jewelry because I always felt like I was begging people to buy jewelry from me because jewelry wasn't important to me. And luckily, my sponsor, who I had known since kindergarten, we went all the way through kindergarten through college together. She actually hosted a jewelry party for me, and she had already become involved with It Works, and she hosted that jewelry party so we could just talk and stuff. And she ended up telling me about It Works a few weeks later, and I was like, sure, why not? $99? I just spent $1,300 to start a business. Why not? And so I remember I had just had our daughter, Claire, and I remember sitting on the bathroom floor. My older daughter was in the bathtub. Claire was in a bouncy seat. And I remember looking at the income chart and seeing Diamond and thinking, if I could get to Diamond, that would replace my teaching income. And, a lot of people say they started for the $500. I started for Diamond. I knew that's where I needed to be able to make money. And so I started, and I did all the things. I did all the things wrong. I was a little snot, to tell you the truth. I was too good for the products. I didn't need to wrap. I didn't need to take greens. But yet I expected everybody else to want to try the products. And, I posted these really advertising things, and I didn't know better. But I ended up quitting, I got 2 loyal customers. I was that girl that tried to use my mom and my dad both as loyal customers, and they didn't count because they shared the address, and Luckily, my sponsor gave me 2, so I did get my product credit, but only because she helped me. And then I quit. My husband lovingly referred to the products as snake oil. And I quit because I wasn't using anything. I was like, I'm not qualified to tell people what stuff to use. Like, I'm not a doctor. But luckily, I saw Beth Taylor, who's one of our uplines. I saw a post that she put up. I was out, I guess. I didn't like actually cancel my account, but I wasn't working. And I guess, about 2 months later, I decided that, I just kept seeing the stuff come up, and I just sort of figured that this was God saying, no, seriously, I gave this to you for a reason, and I expect you to utilize this. And then that's when I came in and I actually started using the products and started learning about the business and how it works. And then, promoted to Ruby, I think within like 3 months of when I actually started to work, and then to Emerald. And then, it got a little hard there for a little bit, but then I hit Diamond and Double Diamond and got my husband to Diamond and bonuses and, this stuff. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of my story. And I will never ever leave. I have thought, I quit the one time. I've thought about leaving again, and God has made it abundantly clear to me that he did not bring me here to quit. And I truthfully, I cannot imagine my life without the goodness and the positive impact of Mark and Cindy Pentecost and Cammie and Mike and Pam, and also our teammates. I am a better person after 5 years than I was when I started, without a doubt. So yay, there's that.
I love that. I'm so happy you didn't quit, Amy, because then we wouldn't have met each other.
I know.
So thank you for not quitting again.
You're so cute.
And you know what? It's funny. It's one thing that, and I want to touch up on that. You mentioned how, at the very beginning, you were a little snotty as far as like, oh, I don't need the products. I don't need to use the wraps. I don't need the greens. I'm fine. But then that you started using the products, and that's when your business changed, right? Okay, so talk a little bit about how important it is to run your auto ship, or to have 150 BBs in auto ship or in volume, but mostly not just to get paid, but for you to be a product of your product, so that your business can grow. Can you touch a little bit about how important that is?
Sure. Yeah, and when I was getting ready to join, I was the girl that was ready to click the button, and then I saw the auto ship, and I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. And I didn't. And it was like 5, 6, 7 days later that I finally pushed the button to actually join. I was terrified of the auto ship. And the thing that I have realized is, if you are not using the products seem really stinking expensive. But when you're using the products and you see the value and you see what they bring to your life, it's no big deal anymore. And it's easier for you to be able to relay that value to other people. If you don't have that ability to see that, you have no grounds to be able to communicate that to other people at all. And the perfect example for that is the coffee. Y'all, I was mad literally about the coffee. Like, this product had been hyped up for 2 months. It went on and on about this new product, and then it was coffee, and I'm like, I wasn't doing keto. I was like, seriously, I don't drink coffee. Sometimes I can have kind of a really crappy attitude about stuff. I'm working on that. But I was like, coffee. And then I was like, $39 coffee? Are you kidding me? Nobody's going to buy this stuff. And then I tried it for the first time, and I was like, this is going to change every single person I know's life. Like, whether they're keto or not, it is going to change their existence. And it comes from a cup of coffee. They don't have to remember to take a supplement. They don't have to set an alarm. They're not going to tell me it tastes gross, like some people tell me the greens don't taste good. It's coffee, and it's going to change their life. But had I never used it, I would still be sitting there saying, oh, this is really expensive. Nobody's going to buy this ever. And so I think that is the biggest thing about using the products. I mean, creating your own personal testimony is critical as well, because people can see right through you if you're lying. And sure, you can share the testimonies of other people. We're all doing that right now with collagen. We're all talking about Melody McFarlane can move now without joint pain, and so and so's back doesn't hurt anymore, and Pam looks like she had stinking facial work done, and it's all the collagen. It's amazing. But eventually people are going to expect to hear your testimony. Not on every single product, but they're going to expect you to have something to share. And if you don't have something to share, it is clearly not authentic. And people want to be able to trust. They're going to trust you before they trust the product. And they're going to trust you before they trust the company, because you are like the foreperson of the It Works company. And if they don't trust you, they're not going to give the rest of it a shot at all. And another thing I think is using the products builds a sense of confidence in yourself. When someone asks you if you've used a product and you haven't, you sort of panic because you don't know what to say. So, using the products and becoming a specialist on how these things have helped you, it creates a sense of confidence in you, in your business, and like I said, in just understanding the quality of what we have here and being able to explain the price points, because the value is worth it when you're using the products. You just see things differently for sure. Yeah.
I love that. I was the same way when the keto coffee was introduced, because I had been doing keto for a year before we introduced keto coffee, and I was like that. I was very snotty towards it. I was going to try it, but I was being very negative because I was already doing my keto, my bulletproof coffee, and
Gotcha.
I was like, oh, all the keto people are going to they're going to target us and they're going to hate us even more because we're now introducing keto coffee. But, that was something that I had to overcome. But I totally love the keto coffee now. From the very beginning, and it's so convenient. And now it's just like their opinions don't faze me, because
Correct.
I've done both. I've done the bulletproof coffee at home and I've done the keto coffee, and I cannot go back to me making my bulletproof coffee. To me now it tastes gross. Like compared to this one, it's just like so yummy. It's like you do not know what fat coffee is until you have our coffee. So I totally get that. Like I was at snot too.
And I think using the products gives you a different level of being able to overcome objections that people say too. Like not just the price point, but what's in it. It gives you a different level of confidence when you're using the product. I've never used Estro Rhythm. And so when someone asks me about Estro Rhythm, I still get nervous because I don't really know what to say, because I can share Beth Taylor's testimony or a customer of mine's testimony, but I've never used it. But I have a decent excuse with that one because I'm not in menopause and I don't have any reason to take it. But you got it, and you don't have to try all the products at once. In fact, I don't think you should try all the products at once, because you want to be able to see what each one sort of does for you. But you got to be trying something. You got to get on something.
I'm sorry. How do you overcome, not overcome necessarily, but how do you, like, say there's a product that you haven't tried, and somebody's asking your opinion on it, or they want more information. How do you go about that conversation to kind of like, well, I haven't tried it, but how do you go about that? Or
I usually just try to be really honest and say, that is not a product that I have ever used, just because I haven't felt like a need for it. But I will absolutely talk with some people that I know have used it and give you and relay their testimony back to you. I feel like honesty is something that people often are not. So I think that especially if you are upfront about it, I think people have a level of respect for that. I mean, I don't think that they expect us to try every single product. I still have never tried New You. There's probably a bunch. I never have used Relief. So is that even around anymore, or Regular? I don't know. But I definitely have not tried all of the products.
Right.
So that's usually what I do is, just ask around. But I don't try to pass off someone else's testimony as my own. I say, I'll find some people that I have a lot of respect for that are teammates who maybe have been in this longer or have had a customer use it or they've used it, and I'll get back to you for sure. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. You kind of have to, because they're in a way they're trusting you. So you kind of want to also put it out there. I'm getting the opinion
Yes.
of somebody that I trust, somebody that I respect, not
Right.
just anyone in the company. You know, somebody
Yeah.
that I'm close to, somebody that I've seen their testimony. So I like that a lot. Um, Another thing that we kind of talked about earlier was host to post. I know you've been using host to post a lot and it's been successful. Give us a couple of examples of what you've done, how you approach it, and what it really has done for you and your business.
Okay. I'm going to be really, host to post can be very hit or miss for me. I tried host to post a couple here, once, and it was not that great. And then I watched Morgan McIntyre interviewed Dee Brooks. And if you just Google Morgan McIntyre Zoom with Dee Brooks, that Zoom changed my life. I listened to it while I was running, and I was like, I'm going to start this like immediately. I don't know what it was that how she said it, that it just made sense. She just went very step by step on exactly what she does. And like that Sunday night, I have found that Sunday evenings are the best time to put up I'm giving away whatever, who wants a free entry, so that all of the people can comment. And then those are your people that you're going to ask to host a post. And in exchange for putting up the post, they, get entry into whatever you're giving away. I have found that that's super helpful. But like I said, the host to post thing is hit or miss. And the biggest thing that I have found about host to post is don't give up on it. Stay consistent with it. If you put up something that says, who wants entries for my drawing, and you don't get any, take the post down and put it up at a different time. But just because you don't get any likes or comments on it doesn't mean that no one's interested. It probably means that Facebook's not showing it to people as much as it normally would. So don't be too quick to be like, oh, nobody wants to do host to post for me. Like, just keep trying. Just keep trying until it's successful. Because in June, host to post was insane for me. I signed 36 customers, and I am not telling you that to brag. I am telling you that because I normally sign like 5. So that was bananas, and it's not been repeated since. And I'm not doing anything differently. A lot of it just comes with faith and trusting the process. Because there's going to be times where it's huge, and there's going to be times where it's not. And it's not anything that you're doing wrong. It's not that it's not working anymore. We utilize multiple platforms of social media, and it can be fickle sometimes. And just keep going. That is the thing that I have found the most, is if you just stay consistent, it'll eventually come back around. But I have found that the cleanse is not my favorite product, but there is something about the word detox that people are like, oh, I want a detox. I even tried it with coffee, because coffee, I think collagen might replace coffee as my favorite product, but coffee is my favorite product. And I even put a picture up of a really pretty coffee, and it still did not draw the attention. I decided not to tag myself in it, because I thought, maybe Facebook thinks I've been tagged in too many things. And then I was like, you're just overthinking it. Do the dang thing, stay consistent with it, and stop trying to figure out all of the stuff. Just stay consistent. And it has been good. I have had some good success, not like I did that 1 month. But I also sort of think God's not going to give me a whole bunch of those months in a row, because I cannot handle it. It's fun in the moment, and you're like, oh, look at me. All right. Yeah. But then keeping up with all those people is just madness. And I truly do think that God protects us from crazy town. He knows what we can and cannot handle. And I think in that month, he wanted me to really realize what can happen with this business. But I don't think he expects me to try to maintain that many people all the time, because that's just bonkers.
Yeah, I was telling Amy, I was telling her the exact same thing. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to keep up with my customers this month. And again, I don't when I post about how many customers I've spent this month, I don't want to brag about it. It's just that it's still how, what? I'm doing the same thing that I did last month, but all of a sudden, But
Exactly.
but one thing that stood out to me is I stayed consistent.
Yep.
I've stayed consistent, and I love that because a lot of the times we tend to want to give up, whether it be with weight loss, with
Yes.
relationships, with whatever. It's easier for us to give up. So I think it's easier for us to want to give up in this business. But I love that you stayed consistent and you just kept on going, and it showed in your business.
And real quick, back in October, November, December, we had something called, I don't know how many people were here then, but we had something called Christmas Cash, and you could earn these points. And the top 100 point earners got to go to the special reception at conference. And again, totally not bragging, just helping you all see. I was one of those top 100 people in the company. That was God too. I'm not even going to take credit for that. That was God right down to the last point, because I'm pretty sure I was like number 100 in the door. I'm not even kidding. And my January, February, March, I wasn't doing anything different. I literally, here I can look at my calendar. I literally think I signed 5 loyal customers in January, no distributors. I signed 4 loyal customers and 1 distributor in February. In March, 5 customers and 2 distributors. And then in June, 36 customers.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. And it's not our job to figure it out. It's our job to stay consistent and work on having new conversations with people every day. We don't control when people order. We do our job, have the conversations, trust the process, have the faith, and there you go. And I'm not saying if something is truly not working, you don't keep doing that thing over and over and over again. That's like banging your head against a wall. So yes, you do need to, adjust and do things differently sometimes, but the consistency, the posting every day, and then just the belief that it's going to come back around. It always does. There are going to be, times that you're planting the harvest and times that you're actually, reaping the harvest. And it's just all part of the process. It just is.
Yeah. And another thing, like your team has grown since then too. Since January, I believe this summer, right? Your team has just like exploded. There's been promotions. You're popping executives. You're popping Ruby. So I think it's your consistency, not just in your posting,
Right.
but just pouring into your team as well, has reflected on them, because now you're teaching them how to work their business effectively and how to stay consistent, and it's showing in your business.
And one thing that I've learned, the better you treat your loyal customers, the more likely they are going to become distributors, because they just want to be a part of this thing that is working so well for them and treating them so well. And if you bring in, and I was really bad about this, like there was a time where things really sort of fell apart for me. And it was in looking at that time, it was a time where God really was like, you need to look at some things that you are not doing very well, and you need to grow, and you need to get some processes in place, because I'm going to bring this back, but I'm not going to bring it back until you really figure out that it fell apart because you needed growth. And, the way that I work with and treat loyal customers, it's not like I brought them in and was like, but I definitely had started letting people fall through the cracks and just wasn't as deliberate as I should have been. And that was one of the things that, became very clear to me, that treatment of loyal customers helps those people turn into distributors, and it matters a lot. So.
Yeah. One thing that you just, and I was just remembering because we didn't talk about this, but one thing that you mentioned to us was you actually created like a little thank you card for your loyal customers, right? And are you mailing that out, texting them, or?
I finally have them. But guys, again, this was something that I joined a wellness product, like cleaning products that don't have chemicals. It's called Grove Collective or Grove Collaborative, or something like that. And I got one of these cards, a similar card, from a guy who was my like personal like person. And I was like, it made me feel so special. And I was like, I am totally doing this. I had been writing handwritten thank you notes for a while. But it just didn't say as much. it just didn't say as much as I want. So I created these just on Snapchat. What's that called? It's not called Snapchat. Snapfish? Snapfish. Well, it's right here. Snapfish. Yeah. But it's just, it's just a front and back. And on the back, it just says, I'm thrilled to welcome you to our It Works family. I'm here to ensure you have an amazing experience with our company and our products, blah, blah, blah. And then at the bottom, it just says a little bit about me, that I adore my life and my family and Disney. And then it has my email and it has my phone number so they can text me because I don't talk to people on the phone. I'm just it's not my favorite, but I will if I have.
That is so neat though. Like I'm the same way. I dread having to talk to people on the phone, but
yeah.
But I really like that idea. It like you said, it makes me feel special, and that's something that I'll probably start doing. I personally don't do that, but I think that's such a great idea. Whether it's a handwritten note or it's something like that, I think you could even probably do something like through Vistaprint. I know Vistaprint is pretty cheap, and I'm pretty sure you guys can find like a Groupon coupon or something like that, or even just buying, a thank you note. Just a simple thank you, I think goes a long way. Let's see what else. One question that was asked that they wanted me to ask you: what posts work best for you that you've seen that have worked best for you as far as like enrolling loyal customers?
Okay. Again, it's going to come back to just being consistent. I don't think that what you're posting is as important as posting every day, because people are watching you, and people are watching that you don't even, and I don't mean that in a creepy way, but people are watching and you don't even know they're watching. And I haven't done it every day recently because I've posted about the college and some, but literally I posted every day about coffee, and people would message me and say, tell me about this magic coffee you talk about all the time. The person had never liked anything ever that I had put up, but they had seen it either in my stories or whatever. So in that time where it was hard, I decided that when I decided I definitely was never going to leave, I was like, you are going to become the most positive, the most gratitude-filled person, and the most consistent person you know. So that everybody that is a friend of yours on Facebook, because I mostly work on Facebook. I do some on Instagram, but I can't do them both and do them both well. So I'm doing Facebook right now because it's working for me. But so that the people on Facebook don't have any choice but to either use your products or be a part of your team, because they're going to want to be a part of what you are putting out there, because what you're putting out there is so super good as far as just, vibes and energy and stuff like that. So I posted about the coffee every day in my stories, on my wall. And then the next, I became almost, I don't want to say robotic, but I started getting up early every morning. Like I'm talking 5:30, 6 o'clock early every morning. And it just became this routine. I message all the people who have liked or commented on the previous day's thing. I message anybody who has looked at my story. I don't care if they've commented on it or messaged me or not. If they've seen it, I'm going to message them and just say, hey, I noticed that you recently saw a post of mine about the coffee. Can I tell you why I love it so much and how it's helped me? Done. It's like 3 sentences and done. And plenty of people are like, no thanks. But other people are like, yes, I've totally been meaning to message you and I keep forgetting. So I just became super consistent in that. Every single day, messages. Every single day, posts. And like I said, I changed my mindset to being so obsessed with signing people and just made it more about having conversations, being in every day, even still. I mean, I've been doing this for almost a year now, where I've been doing this consistency thing. Even still, when that first person messages back and is like, sure, tell me about it, I'm like, yes, new conversation. Like that goal for the day has been met. Ashley Sinclair did an awesome Zoom about, finding your measure of success, so that when you go to bed at night, you've done in a day what you're supposed to do. And the measure of success for me is simple. It's, did I share goodness with people? Did I have at least one new conversation with somebody? And if I've done those things, did I post, did I grow my network, those little sorts of things, then I know I can go to bed, happy that I've done what I was supposed to do in the day. So
I love that.
that's as far as like, okay, so a couple of things I thought, because I thought I've tried to think about, specific things on post. Try to be authentic. The more that I know that it's hard to open up to people on social media, but the more you can share, the better. One of the posts that got the most interaction from me, it was the very first coffee post I put up, and it was a picture where I had like superimposed me holding a coffee packet, and I'm smiling, and the post was said, "That smile is so fake," because when I took that picture, I was so mad about this product and I thought it was so stupid. And I said, because I want people to know that I'm a human too. I was not excited about this coffee, but I am now, because I've seen what it's done for me. I've seen how it's changed my mornings. I've seen so many people who have been impacted by the coffee, but that honesty, people appreciate that. Try to have fun with the stuff. If it's stressful to put up a post, don't put it up. Think of something else, and keep your wording short. Nobody's reading, nobody, in a minute, babes, nobody's reading a novel of the 15 different bullet points of what the coffee does. Nobody's reading that. And it makes putting up a post simple. Posts that get a lot of attention for me is, I can't believe this coffee's burning fat, because people are like, wait, what? It's called curiosity marketing, and giving them just enough so that they're like, what's she talking about? Because if you give them all of the things that the coffee does, nobody has any questions, because you've answered every single question in the novel that you shared with people. It's too much. So keep it short. Talk about one point. Cami just talked about that with the Zoom that she did, or the live that she did with Alyssa Billiou, or Wilbur, sorry now. But, just picking a thing, one thing that the collagen does, because it does a lot of things. You don't have to talk about all the things in one post. Like, do different posts and address the different topics. And another thing that I've seen that has been helpful is to put graphics on the actual photo. So if it's a picture of me drinking coffee, an arrow that says, "This coffee is burning fat," because people might not read what you've written, but seeing that on a graphic, I think, will catch attention and make them sort of stop and say, "Oh, look at that." I rarely ever use stock images from the company. Even before and afters, I usually try to have a picture of me, there's an app you can use called Fonto. There's others called Over. I use Fonto because I know how to use it, but where you can put a picture in the picture. So I will take a before and after picture, and I'll have me holding it and pointing to it, so that Facebook doesn't recognize that that's a before and after picture, because Facebook is smart enough that they've picked up on things that we do, and they like to shut the stuff down. I don't know why. I'm not sure. But when you do tricky things like that, where you use a picture in a picture, you still get to do the before and after picture, and people are still seeing your face associated with it, even if it is not your picture. It's okay. Y'all, I put up a post. It was a meme that said, the nurse asked me what my blood type was, and I said coffee, and I thought it was hysterical. And I said, especially if it's fat burning coffee. It was Gwyneth Paltrow in the picture, and somebody commented and said, "You look really good." And I was like, I know. I was like, it's not like it was an African American in the picture, so I guess had blonde hair, I guess. But I was like,
I can see it. They're calling you Winnie.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I was like, no, that's actually not. I just let it go. I didn't even say anything. I was like, oh, not me.
I love that. You are so creative with your posts, and I think that's me and Gabby were talking about you, and we're like, she's just so creative with her posts, and it just it just I don't know. You draw people in, and I love that you're mentioning all these little tricks that you do. Um, what other apps other than Fonto do you like to use?
Yeah, I keep it so simple. I am just not a fancy person. I use Word Swag and Typorama and Aviary to do some like photo, like if I want to touch up a photo or if I want to change coloring and stuff.
Daddy said go potty and brush our teeth.
Okay, I'll be up in a minute. Okay. But anyway, but like I said, I keep it super simple. I do not complicate things.
Right. That's awesome. I know it's getting a little late and we all have other stuff to do. So I guess we can end this Zoom unless anybody has other questions. But
I have two questions.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Amy, I don't even need to tell you how much I love you because you already know. So we're gonna skip through that. And that I'm so happy that you're here. But what I know you mentioned this today, but being genuine in posts, why is being genuine and not always copying somebody else's post? Why? What would you say to especially new distributors? Because I know it's hard. You want to have that perfect post, and you're like, oh, I see this person that's been in the company for so many years, and her post looks so attractive, and it's so easy to just go and copy and paste. But why is that hurtful versus beneficial to someone? Can you touch up on that?
Yeah, well, it's not allowing you to find your voice, and you have to let go of this concept that like people are looking for perfect, because they're not. Nobody is looking for this, because nobody is perfect. Perfect is impossible for people to pursue. So I'm not going to, if I see somebody who has this perfect makeup, I'm probably not going to approach them because I'm never going to do makeup that looks like that. So, I don't need somebody who has this perfect body, who's a size 2, because that would be very intimidating to me, especially if I didn't look that way, So just own who you are and believe that you have a specific set of gifts that you were put here to share with other people. Because I fully believe that each one of us has, like, God has already lined up the people that we are supposed to bring in as customers and distributors. It's just our job to go find them. And if you're copying other people's stuff and sharing other people's stuff all the time, you're not authentically being able to pursue the people that you were meant here to pursue. And, if you share a lot of friends with your upline, it's actually really detrimental to your business, because other people may have already seen Gabby or Anna share that post, and then you share the same one. And then it just really is like, it doesn't give any sort of authority to your business, because, like,
I will never forget, I was a brand new distributor. And when I started here in my town, my sponsor, and there was a bunch of other girls, were all law enforcement wives. So there was a bunch of us doing It Works. And somebody, I went to a barbecue, and she said, do they have you guys post all the same things? Because she was everybody's in the same network of people. She would see 10 different girls posting the same things. And so it's like, it's not even attractive anymore,
right,
for the first person. So so it's so important, especially when you share that network. If you're friends with your upline or people on your team, and you want to make sure that you're not all using the same post. But I wanted you just to cover that. And I know it's getting late and you have your goals, so we don't want to keep you longer than you need to.
Good.
But we really appreciate it and love you.
Love you guys too.
So we'll end it at that. But before you go, just maybe a short a short advice, a little tip for all our new people. What would you want to tell them, or a little Amy spreading the love, the knowledge?
One of the things that I have heard that I adore is from Mel Robbins. She wrote the 5-second rule. If you've not read that or listened to it, do it, because it'll change your life. She talks about nervousness and excitement being the same emotion. It's just a matter of how you frame it in your mind. So if you're feeling really nervous because you're just starting, tell yourself, I'm just excited. I'm just excited, because the more excited that you can be about what you have your hands on, that is absolutely contagious. People want to be around other people who are excited and positive, and that, I think, is like the most critical thing. If you're like, oh, I have this coffee and it's like $39 and you might want to try it. But if you're like, this coffee is like changing people's lives. People are losing weight just by drinking coffee. Do you see the difference there? Like, it's just a level. It's the first person was nervous to present it, and the second person was excited. And Sarah Rankin, who's an Ambassador Diamond, often says that ignorance on fire is so much more powerful than knowledge on ice. Just be on fire. Whether you know the answers or not, you do not have to be perfect. You do not have to have all of the answers. That's why you have an upline. And it's okay to say, I don't know the answer to that. Somebody asked me, collagen, what type of day is best to take collagen? And I was like, I have no idea, but I will find somebody that knows 5 years in. And I still am like, I don't know. I'll ask though. My teammates ask me questions and I'm like, I've never been asked that before, but I'll ask and I'll find out. Yeah. It's okay. You don't have to know all the things. Just be excited about what you have your hands on. That's my biggest tip.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I guess let's just take a picture really, really quick. Do you want me to do it? I'll do it. Okay. You're going to do it, Gabby? Go ahead. Yay. Thank you so much, Amy. We'll go ahead and, since it's recording, we'll go ahead and upload it, and then we'll share it with you, so you can also share it with your team.
Thank you, Amy. Love you.
Yay. Bye, you guys.